To discuss, let me bring in retired Lieutenant General Ben Hodges. General, always great to see you. Your analysis of what is happening on the ground right now in Ukraine.
Dagan, we are in the decisive phase of this campaign. I think the next 5-7 days is going to determine the outcome. The Russian forces have culminated, meaning they do not have the capacity, the ability, the resources to continue offensive operations. For sure, they can continue to kill innocent people, but their logistics, their manpower issues, the resistance of Ukrainian forces and people. So we've hit the point now in the campaign where Russia cannot go further. So I think that they're going to try and consolidate what they have. And this is the opportunity for us in the West to pour it on, to give them the resources that Ukrainians need so that they can push the Russians back. I think this is a possibility.
Resources would mean weapons, General?
Yeah, specifically weapons that would allow them to destroy Russian Navy ships and the Russian systems that are causing all the damage in Ukrainian cities. It's less Russian Air Force. It's more long-range rockets, artillery, cruise missiles that are coming from Russian ships and from Russian ground systems inside Ukraine and inside Russia. So give them intelligence to help identify where it's coming from. Give them the capability to punch a hole in a Russian ship and put it on the bottom of the Black Sea, and give them the ability to strike back at these long-range rockets and artillery. That will help reduce the killing of innocent Ukrainians.
Would that help Ukraine win?
Yeah, look, Ukraine is going to win. And I hope the president says that this week when he's in Brussels with all the other heads of state and government. They need to say to the Kremlin, Russia, you are not going to be successful here. This is about democracy versus autocracy. And all of us together, we represent democracies. And Ukraine, not a perfect democracy, but there is no such thing as a perfect democracy. We are going to make sure that Ukraine is successful. And like FDR said, we are the arsenal of democracy. And that means we should be giving Ukraine everything they need so that they can defend themselves.
So you say, General, we need to step up in both deed and in word and speak to Russia and particularly Putin on what we will do to help Ukraine and the ability of Ukraine to win, because it's been the opposite. Biden said himself, the goal is to prevent World War III. And so all along, it's been, we can't do X or Y or Z because it will provoke Russia. So this is a clear symbol. If you're a nuclear nation and you're willing to turn your country into a global pariah, you can get away with what Putin's gotten away with.
I think that the administration was doing a terrific job up until the last few days, and then it seems like we became more hesitant. And now instead, I think is the time to pour it on. So it is an opportunity for the president when he's in Brussels to say what our objective is. Our objective is not to avoid World War III. Our objective is to make sure that democracy defeats autocracy. And the United States is the leader here. And so I hope the president will, in fact, say those words, but also we've got to ramp up to something like the Berlin airlift in terms of the iconic sense of urgency and the quantity of getting the Ukrainians what they need.
Well, General, you ran the Europe operations for the Army, correct? What about what all these other Western nations have done in terms of Europe? Are we doing, how would you compare what we've done to what other European nations have done for Ukraine?
I think that the United States, of course, has to be the leader. We've got the logistical muscle to do these things. And so people are always looking to us to provide leadership. But Poland has over 1 million refugees. Romania has 500,000 refugees, all coming from Ukraine. From Ukraine. Germany has hundreds of thousands of refugees. So all of Europe is paying a price here and is helping to deal with refugees. Other nations at the same time are increasing defense spending. Romania, Poland, Germany, of course, a couple of weeks ago, we heard the Chancellor Scholz talk about Germany now realizes they've got to step up. So I think that the alliance actually has done a lot to improve the security of all of its members. What we've got to do as an alliance is figure out how do we preserve that unity, but at the same time address security issues that are right on the border. You know, in 1995, Dagan, you'll remember this, that the alliance, in order to implement the Dayton Peace Accord, NATO sent troops into Bosnia to separate the warring factions from the former Yugoslav Republic. That was outside of NATO, and it was successful. And I think we have a situation now where we need to seriously consider using our capability, not be deterred by the threats that come from Russia. I don't discount them, but we have so many advantages, and I think we could be more effective in using the power that we have.
Lieutenant General Ben Hodges, excuse me. Ben, good to see you. General, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. By the way, I am blind as a bat, so I misread your name, but I do know it is Lieutenant General Ben Hodges. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the privilege, Dave.
No, and I'll say, I know that you're a Florida State fan, right?
That's right.
So I went to Wake Forest. You can just blame it on Wake Forest. I'll give you that.
You seem to have done okay anyway.
Thank you, sir. Great to see you.